I understand this deeply. My father was a truck driver, as many of you know. In the city of Cleveland, he's a member of Teamster Local 407. Now, you also know that just having a job, well, it solves some problems, it doesn't solve all your problems, but anyway. I mean, picture this. We had a very fast-growing family of 7 children. I was the oldest. The children came so fast that my dad, after he came back from World War II, and my mom never had a chance to buy a house. So we were renters. Now, some of you know what that's like. And as the family grew, we just kept moving. There were ads in the 50s. 2 children, only, no children, 3 children. When you go beyond that, and then somebody's knocking at the door saying, can you rent to my family of 3 children when you have 6? And because of the experience that I had in growing up in the inner city, where we lived in 21 different places by the time I was 17, including a couple cars, you know, it kind of connected me to the experience of the working poor in America. Today we have a country where the wealth is being redistributed so quickly to the top that only the union movement can protect principles of economic justice. Only the union movement. Nothing else can do it. Let's look at some of the ways in which wealth is being redistributed upwards. The tax system. The Bush tax cuts went primarily to people at the top. A redistribution of the wealth of the working class and the middle class quickly upward. Our healthcare system. Insurance companies make money not providing health care. The premiums, co-pays, and deductibles are taking millions of Americans, pricing them out of health care. You know, at the negotiating table, the cutbacks in benefits, the increase in premiums, co-pays, and deductibles are a never-ending fight today. If ever there was a time to end this for-profit healthcare system, it is now. In this room were involved a few years ago in the initiative that came to Oregon that sought to do just that. But I have to tell you that as the co-author of H.R. 676, Medicare for All, I know that now is the time to bring the balance forward, to break the hold which these insurance companies have on our political process. Let me tell you what it's like to be running for president, and I'm standing on the stage with all the other presidential candidates who say, you know, we just can't challenge these insurance companies. They have too much of a hold on our politics, but we have an idea about how to get more health care to more people. We'll let the government provide more subsidies to the insurance companies, and will require people to buy their own insurance policy, just like you have to buy health or car insurance. I love this crowd. Let me tell you something. And I wish this were not the case, but it is a fact that I'm the only candidate running for president who is saying, you know, we already have that system of private insurance companies being in control. Let me tell you where it's led the American family. Half of the bankruptcies in America are directly connected to people not being able to pay hospital bills. Am I right?
Yes.
And people are having to put a second mortgage on their homes in some cases to pay doctor bills. I mean, who among us, if we had a loved one who was sick, wouldn't put it all on the table, wouldn't put everything that we had and owned, our savings, what we save for kids' college education, retirement, everything goes on the table to protect a loved one. That's what any of us would do, and that's what many of us have to do. But we have to ask the question, why is it that you can work a lifetime, that you can work at a job 10, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, or more, and yet you have to risk everything because somebody's sick in the family? Why is that? What has happened in our country? Healthcare is a big business. $2.2 trillion a year spent. $2.2 trillion in this country. But 1 out of every $3 goes for the activities of the for-profit system. You've heard these stories about these healthcare executives making 10, 20 million a year, while their agents are on the phone with doctors saying, no, we're not going to pay for that test, doctor. We're not going to pay for that surgery. We're seeing a system that is about accelerating the wealth of the nation upward. It's taking the money from the great mass of the American people. Those who have insurance can't get the care they need. People can't afford to be sick, they can't afford to be well. We have a system that keeps making a few people wealthy at the expense of the many. It is the union movement, and only the union movement, that can break the hold which these private insurers have on our political system, and this presidential election is the time to do it. So I'm standing in these debates, and I'm listening to some of my friends, who are all friends. I've known some of the people running for almost 30 years, some of us. And I hear candidates for president say, you know, we just can't take on the insurance companies. They're too powerful, but we have another way of going. And to listen to this, it'd be very easy to be lulled into an acceptance of that point of view. Oh yeah, they're so powerful. Now, somebody's running for president of the United States, and they're saying they can't take on the insurance companies? Let me tell you, I'm ready for that. I'm ready.